Have you heard, and people cringe when you say this word, but in the NFT space, have you heard about that?
Oh
And
yeah,
how,
I'm cringing it. Yeah.
but have you heard about how musicians are using it and how, the potential for that? And it's super early. It's just conceptually, it's interesting just to keep your eye on. It's like how you can sell an NFT. Say you sell 1,000 of them, each person gets 0.001% of the royalty, and instead of going to a label, it's almost like crowdfunding, your next album, and you give away 20% instead of the 80% that a label will get. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just interesting just to see where the industry is going and what it
Yeah,
might
people
do
just
for
trying
record labels.
stuff.
Yes, exactly.
See where it goes and what works and what doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super
Um,
fascinating.
yeah, one of my biggest collaborators right now is a gal named Ali Spagnola, who's got all kinds of. She's a very quirky, wacky girl that does so much content. Like I do a lot of stuff. She's every week she's got something new coming out, but she's done a lot of stuff with the NFT space already herself.
Really?
Yeah, especially with Ethereum-based things, and she sold a collection of all of her little artwork pieces she'd done, and she got like 5 or 6 Ethereum coins from it, which is I don't know, like 13, 15 grand or something she made. So she's doing stuff with that, and I just kind of watch and nod and smile, like, okay, sure.
Yeah. Hey, you know what though? It's working for some people. It's just
Yeah.
interesting. It's still so early, but it's very. And it's just I'm keeping my eye on it because I'm like, if it turns into anything, I want to be at the start of it rather than trying to catch up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
But yeah, if you figured out how to do it, let me know.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, what's really interesting about this, and like I said, some people are probably cringing as they watch this because it has such a bad taste in people's mouth. But so did the internet. I mean, like when the internet came up, people were like, "Oh, this is a fad," So I don't know, man. I'm thinking like with the whole smart contract thing. What if I say if you own a Jacob Restituto NFT, you will in the contract you get a free ticket to any show you want to come to. You know what I mean? Like you could tie things to it that are really interesting. Or the first row of any concert that I do is for the holders seats where only NFT holders can. That's the only way you can sit at the front row, or meet and greets, or it's just interesting, or free merch or unique merch, or rather than it just being a photo of a monkey and that's all it is. It's like when you tie utility to it, it almost becomes like this membership club that's almost like a Patreon, actually.
It's like another Patreon. It's just a different way of doing a Patreon. Kind of thing.
And you have complete control over it, which is just kind of interesting. And
Yeah,
Patreon's
also
not taking a lot of percent.
Yeah, some Kickstarter-ish vibe to it as well. Then
Yeah,
if hey, I'm gonna do a new album. I'm gonna sell an NFT of the album, piece of it. If you subscribe, like that's a perk to supporting the album. Then
yeah. Or even in the whole streaming aspect of it, like I heard, like if you say you had, 0.1% of, like back to Jay-Z's, New York State of Mind, you're that much more to be like, hey, have you heard the song? You like to share it with your friends, or and it's just interesting. I don't know, but
yeah,
we'll see what ends up happening in the next 10 years.
I know, I hear you. In the back of my mind, I'm brainstorming a little bit already.
Yeah, come
what do I
on,
do
man.
for my next album, man. All right, what can I do?
Yeah, for real, it's super interesting. It's a really interesting space. Or saying, hey, you got to hear the album this like earlier, or whatever the case is, right? But I want to talk about. I'm curious on. I don't know if it was in your it was somewhere on your site, I believe, you were the musical director of Home Free for 15 years. How do you define that? What does that mean for you?
It was a broad term. It was more than just musical direction. For a long time, it was everything direction. I was the driving force behind all of it. I mean, everyone contributes in their own way, but I was the one that did all the numbers, did all the logistics.
Wow.
It was just the buck stops here on just everything. And my personality naturally gravitates towards that, so it worked. Once we had won the sing-off and got bigger, then we had management and publicists and accountants and things, like other people were involved, so I didn't have to do all those different steps, which was actually a little difficult because then I felt very disconnected. I wasn't as hands-on with every aspect of the business, and it was frustrating, especially with the accounting stuff. I like to know where we were, and I had no idea. And I would kind of say, like, I want to get some kind of monthly thing, and they wouldn't want to do it. It was more work for them to give those kind of things. They said, well, it doesn't really count now because money's moving around back and forth, so a monthly thing doesn't give you a good assessment. And I was very that I'd lost that control of, I know where every dollar is right now, and I don't anymore.
Yeah.
So you just kind of trust that it's working.